And since we're talking about violence, it's a perfect time to ask a very important question, which is what crimes are being committed. So the people want to know, what crimes, what war crimes, be as explicit as you wish. Go ahead.
Okay. So the war crimes have been mostly committed by the RSF, but honestly, it wouldn't be fair to exclude the SAF from these war crimes because they also committed some of them, but not to the extent of the RSF. So the crimes committed by the RSF are very long, they're ongoing, they're the worst things you can imagine. They have been done to Sudanese civilians and maybe even worse. So they forcefully displaced most of Al Khartoum citizens, me included, as well as people in Darfur. The
Wow.
2023 genocide in Sudan has recorded the largest displacement number in this decade. 6.7 Sudanese civilians have been displaced in total, 5.4 million internally displaced, and 1.3 million refugees outside Sudan. Um,
Wow.
the RSF have burned villages with its people in Darfur. They committed heinous crimes against the Masali tribe in Darfur, from burning them alive to burying them in mass graves while being alive, and also recording these crimes. There have been thousands of Al-Masalit who have been ethnically cleansed in this genocide, and not less than 1,000 women and men raped, including children, since mid-April 2023. Most of them also being gang raped. The numbers have unfortunately risen to more than 1,000 since, but no one can get a precise number since rape is a taboo topic in society, and most families would rather just keep it secret.
Yeah, don't
Um,
tell anyone. That's
yeah.
a bit too
Absolutely.
common.
And how
Um,
about some? Sorry, go ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah, if there's more, go for it.
yeah, there's more. Women and girls are being kidnapped by the RSF from neighborhoods in Khartoum and Darfur. They're being sold in slave markets. Some girls were found in Central Africa. The RSF also launches random shellings on neighborhoods in Khartoum, which resulted in thousands of innocent civilians losing their lives. They also bomb neighborhoods. They don't also bomb neighborhoods. They also bombed hospitals and health centers, big markets, and any vital center in the city. I also have to mention the siege in Al Fatihab Durman, Al Fatihab neighborhood in Durman in Khartoum.
Okay.
People have been dying of hunger and thirst because of the depletion of supplies there. Some people have chronic illnesses and are elderly and they need constant medication, but they can't find any, so that a lot of them have died and they've been buried inside their houses. Um, People can't even honor their dead by burying them in proper burials. A lot of people died in their houses and got buried in the yard or just left out to decompose.
Subhanallah.
Some people buried their loved ones in the burial site under heavy shellings. I also have a personal story about this. So, back in April, when it was still Ramadan, my college, which is a university in the middle of Khartoum, it was open for students. So when the war broke out, it was just a normal Saturday, and students were in college studying. So they got stuck there for weeks without getting any help, and it was Ramadan, so they had to break their fast with water from the bathroom. Yani, akramakumullah. Um,
Subhanallah.
Allah.
yeah, some students, they even tried to find a way out of campus, but one of them got shot dead in the midst of the heavy clashes, so they couldn't even get his body to his family. So they buried him in the eastern yard of the campus. You know that yard where me and my friends always hung out? It was also, where most sports tournaments took place. It was a
Yep.
place related with nice memories for us students, but now it will be remembered as the site where one of its students got buried. It was such an unfortunate thing. Yes. Also,
Absolutely.
yeah, the RSF also like kidnaps random civilians and keeps them under inhumane conditions with no food or water for months. They also use them as human shields or as ransom. They demand very high prices to set them free for their families. And unfortunately, most people who get captured, they just die from either bombs or starvation and disease.
Wow. It's very, so basically every single despicable thing you can think of they are doing it.
Yes,
So
exactly. Yes.
wow. It's
That's
pretty
yeah.
sickening, and in some respects, it's actually much worse than what's happening in places that we hear about in the news recently. It's much
Yeah.
worse than in some elements. I mean, at least gang rape and rape. And what I find very interesting is how about the you one story I saw, and this one will stay with me. It's when I saw this infamous tweet, the infamous one about the Sudanese sisters who are asking for ways to, is it if it's allowed to kill it herself or something in order to
Yes,
avoid
Oh,
yes,
the
being
fatwa.
raped.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Do you want to get
It
a bit
was
more
it was
context on that one for us? Yeah.
yeah, so because the RSF have been known ever since this war started with their, gang rape against girls, a lot of girls have this internalized fear of like, what if the RSF just barged into our house? What would they do to me? Would they sell me? Would they rape me? And so there has been a lot of girls having the same thought, should I just kill myself? Would Allah forgive me if I just kill myself before they get to me? It's just such a scary situation to be in, honestly.
Absolutely. Yes. No
Yeah,
one should
quite,
have to live under that. Yeah. Sorry, Avi.
yeah, no one at all, to be honest. Absolutely disgusting. But I think like it's hard to hear all that, and then is there anyone helping at all? Is there any other countries that are trying to get involved? Is there anybody trying to help? Because there's so much suffering going on at the moment, and there has to be a country out there that's at least trying to help. So is there any other
Mm,
country that's trying to help out at the moment, and what are they doing, and how are they
Like
going
via
to
aid.
help out you guys? Yeah.
yeah. So, in terms of aid, no African country honestly comes to my mind, except maybe Egypt. But like mostly aid comes from Gulf countries, like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar.
Please
These
don't say
countries,
UAE.
I
Please
wouldn't
don't say
say the UAE at all.
UAE.
These people,
Fantastic.
astaghfirullah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So, yeah, there has also been like um, in, initiatives that were started by Saudi Arabia in Jeddah to stop this war, but as of now, they haven't been successful, unfortunately.
I see.
Um, yeah.
Okay, and so that's it in terms. How about, so you mentioned the Arab and Africa? How about in terms of outside of African and Arab countries? How about internationally? Is anyone, I doubt it, helping via aid? Have any organizations, UNICEF, Red Crescent?
Um, I will be honest in this and say that most aid that comes from Western countries has not reached its target people. It has
So where's it
never
going?
reached us. So the any aid that comes from Western countries like the UN is either being stored in stores until it gets expired, or it just gets sold in the black market. So people cannot get these aids.
Wow. And so this naturally makes us wonder. I mean, so you talked about aid. I mean, one very interesting thing is, what do you think is the future of this conflict? I mean, do you think the RSF at the moment are, charging ahead and the SAF are on the back foot, or do you think is a stalemate? What do you think's the outcome of the current conflict, the way it's going as of today?
Honestly, the future is looking very unclear, if not grim. Also, with the
Okay.
recent RSF advances in Al Jazeera state, the Sudanese civilians have just lost all their trust in the Sudanese armed forces. So they're just taking to arm themselves, which
Wow.
personally, I'm afraid this may lead to an actual civil war. You know?
And do you also think it might perhaps create the environment for another ISIS 2.0 kind of organization to arise as well? Is that a possibility? Because
Honestly, it is a
background is there.
possibility. Yeah, it
Yeah, the
is a
background is
possibility.
there,
Yeah.
definitely. And the biggest question that we have is, why do you think the international news and media are not reporting this? Why is it that I had to find it on X? Why? What are your thoughts?
So honestly, in my opinion, a big part of why the Sudanese genocide is not getting recognition, firstly, in the Arab countries, because of the media blackout the UAE is imposing, on most of the big news channels, like Al Arabiya, Al Jazeera, all these countries, they don't, they don't talk about the Sudanese genocide, which makes me really believe that yes, the UAE are actually paying these news channels to not um, portray our genocide, because it doesn't benefit them. But when it comes to Western countries, I can't find a real reason, but the fact that we're just Black Africans who are just dying in a war in Africa, which doesn't matter much to them. There's always this type of thought regarding wars in Africa that they're just self-inflicted and trivial, and they're just Black Africans fighting each other. We can't do anything about it. People don't think that these Western countries have hands in these wars.
Absolutely. It sounds like the typical, colonial narrative, oh, they're just people of color. They don't really
Yes.
know. It's just them being, uncivilized and this kind of
Yes.
rhetoric. I mean, and in terms of the Muslim countries and the Muslim, Arab, and African countries, there is hypocrisy, the fact that they are, so pro the Palestinian conflict, for instance.
Yes.
Yet when it
Yes.
comes to other conflicts like Sudan, which are very important, equally as important as the Palestinian conflict. We don't really see much from them. They seem to turn the blind eye, which makes you wonder:
Yes.
do they really care about even the Palestinians? Perhaps it's more so just a case of
Yeah.
the third
Safe
mosque being there,
space.
Al-Aqsa being there. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And because the international media isn't showing anything, naturally we have to show something. So, Avi, do you want to share some of the footage so the people can see, what's
Yeah,
happening here?
100%. Let me just.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Avi
So
will screen share it now. He's got his
yeah. Okay.
screen share thing.
All right.
If you want to start with the thread, I think that might be the best one, just to give us a bit of
Yeah,
Yeah.
overlook.
inshallah. Let's get up. Can you see this here?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Here was one here. Mute this.
Wow, it's crazy.
It's actually unreal, honestly.
Mm.
Should we move on to a few more down the thread, just to give the people a bit of an overview of what things are like, without opening any, not safe for work ones. It's a very active environment, isn't it? Is it like that
Yeah.
pretty much every single
Yes.
day for you, Yara, like outside your window,
Yes.
so to speak? Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. I would skip past this one. I think it might be a and this one as well. I think it might
Yeah,
be
no worries.
NSFW. Nothing too. We don't want to
Yeah.
get
There are
banned or anything.
videos of executions. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, please, yeah. Do give us more about execution so people can know what's going on.
So there has been videos circulating of RSF, executing civilians from Khartoum.
Okay.
Yeah, civilians from certain tribes. Before executing that person, they ask him like, "What tribe are you from?" So when they find out that he's from a tribe from north of Sudan, they execute him by cutting his neck.
Straight up.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
That
unreal.
is
yes,
absolutely insane. And
yeah.
I mean, that begs the question: why don't they just lie and say, "Look, we're not from the north"? Is it because they take pride in their ethnicity, or?
So yeah, it's not there's some type of like distinction. Like you can know someone who is from the north and someone who's from the west. The facial
Yeah.
features itself of people from the west are very different from people from the north, because people from the north are closer to Arabs than people
Yeah.
from the west, who are closer to
Yes.
Africans. So it can be really like easy to differentiate. Or even like from your last name, last names are also like a main factor that distinguishes between like northern person and a western person.
Absolutely. So it's pretty easy to find out based upon the physical features. No, because I was thinking that
Yes.
that makes perfect sense. But no, that's definitely a. I mean, there also is a not safe for work video that we're not going to open. But if Abby can just show, just if the people want to have a look, because with the greatest respect, Yara's saying a lot of things, and people might doubt you. They might think you're lying, or you're just making a big
Yeah.
deal out of it. And Abby, if you want to share that one, that one that I said
Yeah,
don't
no
open.
problem.
Yeah.
No
Obviously, don't
problem.
open it, please. Yeah, don't want to
Yeah,
get in
of
trouble.
course.
Yeah, but Joke Society, it really is a despicable video. I mean, I will describe it. It literally is an execution. It's about 3, 4, 5
Mm.
men lined up, and they just start shooting them. You don't need to speak
Yes.
Arabic to understand what's going on there. This is the source for it. If anyone wants to check it out, they can. But it definitely isn't safe for work, and and since Avi's got his screen open now, where can our viewers get more information about this conflict? What X usernames do you recommend? And if Avi can just open them and just let the people see so they can find them.
Um.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Let me just
So
get.
there has been. Yeah.
Avi, if you want to open X on the
Okay.
explore thingy, and then if Yara
Yep.
can just tell us the usernames, and we'll just bring 3, 4 of them up, just so people, the 3, 4 big ones, just so people can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is another picture. The one that, so I do apologize. This picture Avi's sharing here is of a victim being tortured by the
So
RSF, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, I mean, if you go to the explore button, the search icon,
Yep. Go
the
for it.
search, yeah, and yeah, if you can tell us the big ones, Yara, so just so people can keep up to date with this conflict.
Okay. So there has been this account called BS on Blast.
So
She's been a very important account in telling the Sudanese genocide ever since it started. It's a really big account. It's very important to follow her.
This
no,
one, yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
no
I see.
problem.
So it's
Yes.
a big one. Is she like a journalist, or is she like a civilian like yourself who's just forced to report it because no one else is going to do it?
Uh,
Is she a journalist, or is she a civilian like yourself who's just been? Oh, have we lost her? Have we?
Possibly, yeah, could be the internet connection. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Are you able to stop the recording
go.
here?
yeah.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, Yara's back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
I'm
welcome
is
back.
back.
she
Sorry.
fantastic? You're back. Yeah. So is it a journalist, or is she a civilian like yourself who's just forced to report this because no one else is going to do it?
Yeah. She is a journalist, actually.
Oh, fantastic! Do you know
Yes.
what news network she works for? Just to give it more credibility, so people can, because people are very what do you call it? They're being very skeptical. So, do you know
Yeah.
what network at all, or does it say what network?
She is an independent journalist, so
Yeah.
she does not work for a specific like.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic! So, okay,
No
and
problem.
who else you recommend apart from her? Maybe about 2 others, the 2 big ones.
So there has been this account called Nas Al Sudan. It's been a very good account. They've been putting threads, really helpful threads. Yes, this account.
Perfect.
Yes.
Wow. This is one that I've come across as well, so I can vouch for this one.
Yeah.
The threads are really nice. Yeah, definitely quite easy to
Yes, they're very.
understand for people who are not familiar. Yeah, definitely. And who else you recommend? Just a third one. Would you recommend the one that we initially shared, that thread? That one that has that
Yes,
long.
this is a very good account as well. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Abby,
no
if you open
problem.
that, that initial link, that big thread of videos, the last link I sent you, the third one.
Yeah, no worries. I'll get that
If
open
you,
for you, inshallah.
yeah, and then just give us the name of that one as well, just so people can follow it and keep up to date with this.
Yeah, so
Because
it's called HK Zuck. So let me enter it in here.
no problem. Because look, the ugly truth is no one's really gonna. I mean, this podcast ain't really gonna make a difference in terms of like stop things on the ground, but we can at least share the information, and perhaps they can reach more people. More people can see what's going on here, rather than
Inshallah.
just what we're seeing in the mainstream media. Because we can't trust the mainstream media anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
We never
That's it.
could. It was a lie.
It was all a lie.
Yeah,
No worries. But
and
yeah,
then
I guess.
and that brings us to the final question, which is, what can our viewers do to help? What can they do to help? any ways, any petitions, any
Mm.
places we can donate, if any particular causes, any perhaps life support machines or whatever you recommend?
So yeah, so people can initially educate themselves, and by educating themselves, I say listen to actual Sudanese people, both on the ground and Sudanese journalists, and amplify their voices.
Yeah.
And maybe read the threads that are, you know, supplied by these Sudanese accounts. And other than educating yourself, you can also like donate to trustworthy links that are also
If you,
provided in these accounts.
if you can send
Uh,
us some other ones as well, we could definitely put them in the description too, in terms of the
Yeah.
links.
100%.
Or any
yes. Okay, I will.
petitions as well. I know there was a
Yes, there
petition
are
about brand the RSF as a, is it a particular organization, terrorist organization? There was a petition, I think, for that as well.
Yes.
Please do share them, and we can link them as well for people. But just a final thing. I mean, what are your closing messages for the people? What is it that you want to say as someone who may potentially? I mean, because look, we have to thank you. I mean, Abby, thank you for coming on. I mean, you're risking your life
Yeah.
here, because I know there are people who have been, given threats of rape. There was this one sister; she was given a rape threat, and
Yes.
she had to flee to, was it Chad or Niger? I believe. So we
Chad.
do
Yeah, she went
appreciate
to Chad.
Chad. She went to
Yeah.
Chad. We have to appreciate you, for coming on and risking it. Because if they find you, you're really in big trouble. But you're doing what you can, and that's a very,
Yeah.
definitely a
Yeah. Beyond
courageous thing
amazing,
to do.
honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you
Uh,
you have more courage than the RSF combined. Let's put it that way.
Definitely.
thank you. Honestly, I firstly want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak about my country and shed important light on this genocide. I also want to urge people to not, get tired and get pessimistic about all these genocides that are going on in the world. It's very disheartening to see all these deaths and all these murders happening all at the same time in the world. People would get discouraged. Like, what would my voice do if this is still ongoing? But I just want to tell anyone who is listening that your voice really matters. If you share a tweet, that matters. If you share anything, if you talk about this genocide happening in Sudan, you are helping our people. So do not get discouraged. Inshallah, we will all be free and liberated.
Inshallah,
I mean,
bi'ithnillah. I mean, absolutely. And a final message, because look, this Sudan's a Muslim majority country, and all three of us are Muslims. So, what message do you have to Muslim countries and Muslim leaders and the Muslim people across the world? The last one.
Um, Honestly, for Muslim leaders, I just hope and know, and Allah guides them to actually
Ameen.
take,
I mean,
yeah, to take actual steps and actions to help their Muslim brothers and sisters, both in Sudan and Palestine and other countries. And
Ameen.
for the Muslim population, yani, honestly, I don't know what to say, but
yeah. It's,
just, yeah,
May,
may Allah guide us all, honestly.
may Allah subhanahu unite the ummah, and help all the innocent people who are suffering. All that, absolutely. But no, we do appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
yeah,
I
it's
really
been
appreciate it. Yeah.
informative, honestly. I've learned a lot. I've
Yes,
been
thank you
listening
very
more than I've
much.
been talking, but that's for a reason, honestly.
Definitely, and I'll be definitely going to rewatch this, and we're definitely going to take snippets as well, because there's a lot of information here. There's a lot of information people can learn from. We went quite in
Alhamdulillah.
deep as well.
Yeah,
You definitely give a lot of background as well, so we really do appreciate you coming on. And I know we had to jump through a lot of
thank
hoops to
you.
get you, but we got there in the end. Absolutely. And
Yeah,
me and Abby
alhamdulillah.
both personally pray that you stay safe, as well as the other activists who are online trying their best,
Inshallah.
risking their life
Inshallah.
quite frankly. Inshallah, absolutely. But no, thank you very much for coming on.
Yes,
We really do
thank you.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Thank
Assalamu
you.
it's been
alaikum
Thank
great.
you.
wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa alaikum
barakatuh.
assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.